Connect encoder. No data. Let me refresh. And we are live, allegedly. Yes, we are live.
Hello.
Hello. Let me get you that link, Brian.
Thank you.
But welcome to the PCH Pit podcast, where we generally ramble about people, places, or things.
Sometimes robots.
Sometimes, but not really ever.
See, we'll eventually get to talking about something here shortly.
Yes, if I knew what I was doing, which I don't. Let me make sure. Let me make sure the stream is public. Yeah, we should be public. Yep, 2 concurrent viewers. Awesome. So, welcome to the PCH Pit podcast. Before we get started, we have to make the usual disclaimer. Any views or opinions shared on this show are solely that of the individual contributor and do not reflect the views or opinions on this show are solely that of the individual contributor and do not reflect the views of PCH Pit, any FRC team, First, Georgia First, South Carolina First, or any of their affiliates and sponsors. So the idea behind the show is to serve as an FRC talk show that focuses primarily on the Peachtree and South Carolina districts. We're going to be talking about a variety of topics, so don't be surprised if you see us drop some hot takes. Ultimately, we're hoping to provide some entertaining and engaging discussions. With that being said, I will be your host today and producer, Thomas Priego. I'm the strategy mentor for Team 1833, Team Bean out of Cumming, Georgia.
I am David Allred, mentor of 4451 Robots Garage and 4864 Innovation Station out of Fountain Inn and Lawrence, South Carolina, and a member of the South Carolina Planning Committee.
I am Joshua Drake, also known as Pongo. I am the lead strategy mentor and drive coach for Team 343 Metal in Motion.
I'm Brian Carlson. I'm a mentor with 6829 Ignite Robotics.
And unfortunately, our long-standing producer, Ian, has abandoned us. So...
The witch is dead?
Yeah, salute. Yeah, no. Yeah, okay.
Ian is dead. We killed him. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to pay for that one. With that being said, we don't really, due to the tight turnaround on this, we don't really have a set structure like we usually do. So instead, this podcast is mainly going to be a semi-free-flowing discussion about the 2 district championships that happened across Forsyth County, across across the first South Carolina and the Peachtree districts. All right. So with that being said, Ian, Josh, why don't you take it away? And how did South Carolina DCMP end up going?
Okay. So we gathered 31 teams at the Anderson Civic Center in Anderson, South Carolina. We've been doing that for 4 years. Anyway, can't remember how long we've been there, but it's a really good venue for the an event that size. And so we had 31 of the 39 teams we had this year there at the event. Really, really good event. So coming out of at the end of the event, the Impact Award winner was for 85-75, the Due Westerners. That was not a shock to me. That was what I predicted had I been on last week's prediction show. They have a very strong program. They're currently, I think I've said this before, they're building an innovation STEM center in Due West, which is not a very large place to do something like that.
Kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yes. that's I guess why it's called Due West, because it's really so they are outstanding group of people. They've got the state government involved. They've raised a lot of money and for first and outreach. So congratulations to the Due Westerners. Coming in with the Engineering Inspiration Award is another very strong team in our state. 3489 Category 5 out of the Charleston area. They pretty much dominate in the Impact Award area. Very, very strong program and support a lot of first teams. Rookie All-Star this year. We did have enough rookies. We added to our mix, and 11167 Team Titan from Rock Hill. I believe they're out of a tech center up there, and they were also the second pick of the 5th alliance in the playoffs, and they performed very well this year. Our Woody Flowers Finalist Award winner was Sean Tucker from 343 Metal in Motion. It was a great honor of mine to be able to present that award to him, and I'll remember that for a long time. That was terrific. Moving on to the winners of the event. The winner was the First Alliance, captained by 4451 Robots Garage, which is a repeat winner of the second state championship. 6366 Ramrods out of the Greenville area was the first pick, and that was their first win since their 2017 rookie season. And then 619 Rana's Rivets, their very first win. And they also had picked up a Gracious Professionalism Award back at week 2 in Richland. The finalist was captained by the 4th Alliance was captained by 8575, the Due Westerners. They were also last year's finalists. And so they got a silver gold double clean bling, which is great. 343 Metal in Motion was their first pick, and they were last year's champions. And then 7085, the Wired Warriors, coming in as the second pick, and they were also last year's finalists. So if you want to make it to the finals, you might want to have them around. There was some interesting things that made the alliances kind of jumbled up a little bit. Category 4, 367 was the second alliance captain, and they did a draft burn of Phoenix, the 5th alliance captain, Due West, the 4th, and 1287 Aluminum Assault, the 3rd alliance captain. And then they were joined by 342, and I can't remember their second pick.
It was 1293.
It was 1293. That's right. 1293. I should have remembered that. And so that they that kind of busted up some of the challenges. And so when I saw that, I was like, number 4 alliance still looks pretty strong, and so they made it all the way to the finals. Other interesting stuff about the event is, South Carolina didn't put up a lot of points this year. We did have, even with the raised energized ranking point, we did get at least 9% of our matches with the energized. So actually a little bit more than I was expecting. So we were playing pretty good. And then we only had one supercharged match with 4451, 6366, and 6167, the CB Bearbots, who was the captain of the 7th Alliance. So that was the story of that. I don't remember any climbs at the event.
This might be jumping the gun a bit, but we did have an L3 in PCH at this event.
Ooh. Yeah. Boy. Yeah, we'll definitely get to that one. I definitely want to know who pulled that one off. So anyway, South Carolina gets 7 qualification slots. So, Impact EI and the Rookie All-Star go, the Winning Alliance goes, and then because the next highest point getter, that would have been Due West, but because they won Impact, it went to 1287 Aluminum Assault, a highly deserving team to get the chance to go to Houston. I don't think they've been. If they look back, I think it was last one. They were there in 2017. So congratulations to Aluminum Assault, and I hope to see you guys maybe on our field. That'd be great. Next in line, in case somebody declines in points, we've got 343. Next, Metal in Motion is the next in points. 10-3-67 Category 4, and 3490 Viper Drive are the next three in line.
Is Category 4 a sister team of Category 5?
Correct. Yes.
Gotcha.
We have 4 sister teams, or 5 sister teams now.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I
this
think that's right.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch as much of South Carolina as I usually do, just because I was also competing this weekend. But generally speaking, I was quite impressed by the improvement from 4451 that I saw compared to the last time that they competed, which I believe was week 2, if I'm not incorrect, David. And I think in general, South Carolina, I think the overall improvement the district has gotten better since week 4. I think it's still got a ways to go as those teams start going into Houston. So it'll be very interesting to see how they perform, especially in that higher competitive environment. But I think South Carolina is definitely taking a step forward compared to at least last year.
Yeah, we found that if you pick up a ball, you can shoot a ball. So we
Yeah.
we came with a different intake and fixed some hopper jam issues and just put some more software in it. It was really a major change.
Did you stick a turret on it yet, or is it still fixed?
It's a fixed shooter. We're gonna we've got some tricks we're pulling off for Houston, and that's why I was watching California today to see what are those second robots out there doing. And so
Yeah.
we've got plans now.
Yeah. For those of you who didn't watch, the 8 seed in California scored 707 in their first.
Yeah, you score 700
Yeah.
and lose.
By over 150.
Yeah. I remember we were this is a side tangent, but I remember I was in the stands and it was when California qual started. I remember I pulled out my phone and I was like, oh, let's see what's going on. And I saw that there was a match where a team scored 525 points in quals 5 and lost by 300. And I was like, 525 wins you a lot of that'll win you an event. That's an event winning alliance. And it happened in quals and they lost. And it's just oh no, those guys out there are playing on a different planet compared to us over here.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah, I want to say that Team 6366 also got a lot better from their last event. I believe they had a ton of CAN bus issues throughout even this event. And then their drive coach walked up to me and he was like, yeah, so it turns out yellow does not go to green and green does not go to yellow. So I believe once they fixed that, they were lights out. They were shooting so many fuel. They really turned it around.
Yeah, that's why you don't want to have colorblind electricians.
Yeah, our electrical lead is colorblind, and we were in the middle of and we were helping. We were helping our third bot because they ended up having a CAN bus issue, and so we're helping. And he just goes, Thomas, I need your help. And I'm like, all right, what tool do you need? What do you need? He's like, what color is this wire? I'm like, oh no.
Oh man,
green one. And he's like, oh, okay. Now I know what the green looks like now. And then he's he's fine. And then we ended up having to look, and we were looking at the CAN coders. It's like, what colors are the lights flashing?
Exactly.
And I was going orange, then green. And he goes, I can't help with that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Do you not know the error code? And he goes, no, those colors look the same. I'm just
Yes. And I have that exact same problem. So I say, people, come look at these blinky lights. What color are they blinking?
Yeah.
So we had an issue. Wasn't at comp. We saw this ahead of time between our a week earlier. There was a battery. I went to plug it in, and it didn't go black. It went black red.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
That I can tell.
That's gonna cause problems.
I miss the good old days where when we I remember in 2016 we accidentally plugged a drive motor in backwards, and instead of going in and rerunning the wire, our software person's like, "Oh, I'll just reverse it
flip
code," and then I was like, I miss those days where it was simple like that, where you could just to test a motor, you would just take the bare wire and stick it into a battery terminal to see if it would turn on.
Here's a window motor
don't
from
tell
a
us
car.
the secrets to FRC.
Yeah.
They had any other comments on the event, Josh, from your perspective as a draft coach? Or
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to our alliance partners, 8575 and 7085. I personally believe that it was impossible for us to drive a better finals. I think our strategy was as good as we could have done with the 3 robots that we fielded, and we still lost by over 102 times. But I mean, you can't fault us for trying. And it was a super fun event, super fun to play with all of them, and just the camaraderie between us and 8575. We had when we won playoff match 13, that had guaranteed 8575 went to Worlds, and our drive teams were hugging it out on the field because we basically knew we were about to go get slaughtered in the finals. So it was a super fun event.
13 was a big moment. That was a very emotional match for me, because Viper Drive was on the other side. They went out. They were fighting hard to get to the finals as well. So match 13 is always that one match that really
Yeah.
That cutoff is sometimes tough.
Yeah. That's always the hardest part at DCMP, is watching the teams as elims ends, where they're all looking at their phones, refreshing FRC locks of, is that enough to get in? Where am I? Who's above me? Who's still playing? And then looking at people of okay, who needs to win this match in order to get in? What awards are you looking for? And it's a double-edged sword, because it's nice when you see the kids look at it and go, "Oh, we made it," and then the other ones of "Oh no, this is." I being on both sides of that coin, it can be quite tough.
When we got bounced out, everybody was watching the rest of the competition, and I'm going through, looking at who's where, counting up points, trying to figure who's still to play and everything. And people are coming to me. I'm like, there are still possibilities, or multiple ways. Just wait.
Yeah. But with that being said, Josh and David, thank you for your South Carolina review. Are there anything more you would like to add before we jump over to the PCH District Championships?
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
No? All right. Well, I would like to say that I think this District Championships is probably the best we've had since 23. Yep. I think it was probably, well, from my perspective, I didn't have a lot of fun. I was stressed the entire time. Just because this event was probably the most unpredictable event, especially at after day 1 ended. Day one ended with Bean losing their first match of the season, and then all of a sudden, alliance selection and the seeding game exploded. Bean then proceeded to lose their next 2 matches on day 2, as did everyone. Everyone who was trying to seed first ended up losing. At the moment of where at every point that the team could win and lock a first seed, they lost, and it ultimately led to Team 1771, who ended up getting 3 straight coming back from having lost 3 matches on day 1, has 3 state 5 RP matches and nearly has a 6 RP match to come all the way back and end up coming back and end up being the 1 seed. They then picked Team 1833, Team Bean, as the first seed and 4509 as the first seed alliance. Before we get into elims, like quals at this event was insane. I think probably the best quals we've ever had, and I think the GDC. I would just like to say thank the Lord for the GDC moving the energized threshold to 240, because at least in Georgia, if they hadn't had done that, it would have literally been the ranking game would have literally been I think Walton might have ended up seeding first, just from the number of like our extra RPs they would have ended up gaining. I think moving that floor, and not saying that Walton wasn't a deserving or a really good team, it's just moving that higher to where it's an achievement to get it, ended up really allowing the rankings to kind of shake out, to where despite having massively hard schedules, teams were able, like the better robots were generally able to seed well, and it prevented where at least in Georgia there wasn't really a scorch, because enough teams were consistently able to like force an extra RP here or there. I think this is the most amount of wins a 1 seed and a 2 seed, or most amount of losses a 1 seed or a 2 seed have had in a district championship in PCH history, with both 1771 and 1833 Team Bean both losing 3 matches and still ending up as the 1 and 2 seed. So I think the quals was just exciting for everybody. I think there were multiple moments. Most of the time in these events, at least in my experience, there's never really a moment in the stands or in quals that the crowd's getting on their feet and cheering and really getting into it. And there were multiple instances where that happened there. Like I think my mind goes back to qual 78, where 6919 died at the beginning of the match, then all of a sudden came back alive, shot their hopper at the very last second to come from behind and beat Team 1833 to take the 1 seed. I think there was a moment where 1648 and Team 1833 set the state high score in quals, and the crowd got on their feet for that. There was, and this is probably, if there was one team I could shout out, it'd be shout out the Gear Bears, Team 9480, building the only triple climb in the district. They didn't have it at, I remember watching it go up, and it started like, everyone the first time they did it, everyone stopped watching the entire rest of the match as they watched this robot slowly rise to the heavens to score the first ever L3 in state thing. There were multiple ties, which the fact that there are ties in this game is completely crazy to me.
What a tie!
Yeah,
we had one.
We had one. And it's considering it's not like last year ties. Last year we had no ties, and that's like the year for ties because it's a pick and place, right? This is a volley shooter where there are hoppers that are 30 to we have 9477 with a literal 100 and like whatever ball hopper capacity. You know, you're shooting massive volume of balls, and there was a tie.
Our first match was a tie.
Yeah.
No.
There was a tie.
Yeah,
and if that tie doesn't happen, if their tie doesn't happen, Team 1002 would have seeded first at the event. Like, there is so...
What the world?
Like,
I bet you all have the world record
for ties.
Ties at an event this year.
Yeah, I think at Gainesville there were 4.
Oh gosh! What?
Yeah.
What?
And it's like, I think
right,
we've
we
also,
gotta
as a
go.
district, we probably set the and then some of our district events set the record for most points scored by a human player, because there were multiple events where the strategy was just, let's shove all the balls in the corner and let the kids just go.
Well, some of these kids
So
are
I
good.
think we're contesting that one. Our human players were locked down all season.
They
yeah,
were.
yeah. Shout out our human players. No, but Qualls was crazy. And then it all, yeah, I like the chat is now listing out all the ties that has happened this year.
I'm scrolling through Blue Alliance. It's pretty intense.
Yeah. I think we lead the, if there's one thing the Peachtree just can hang their hat on and lead the world in, at this year we led the world in ties.
Yeah,
Which
I'm
is,
not seeing that. We need to get that one on the Blue Alliance tie counts.
yeah, like
It'd be an
someone
interesting stat.
get on Chief Delphi, start a. This was also like, I think, a really well run event. I
Yeah.
really like the Mercer venue.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
great.
It is
Venue.
quite nice. It is awesome being there. Um,
So the
and
one
like,
thing, I love the practice field they do. And a lot of it, district qualifiers, you can't really do full field practices or auton stuff like that. They have that there, but one of the things that we had to do when we first got there was recalibrate our lights or have flashlights to point at the April tags, because it was so much dimmer, and our cameras were calibrated for the field where it was nice and bright.
yeah,
But it was great to have that space, and I mean everybody was there all the time. It was always
yeah.
full.
Huge shout out to, I think, Kellen Hill, who's also, I gotten rid of him. Don't know where he is.
He's a
Um,
ghost.
he's the new ghost, and Ian is gone. But I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure I don't kick the router again.
You just keep knocking things out. They're dead. They're dead. Now the rudder's dead.
Yeah. No, but like, it was a super good, like, huge shout out to, and then I think Walton donated their bumps that they used for their DE field to do it. I know the hub was one. I think Team Bean's hub was used for the practice field. And then I think Alliance's field perimeter, Team 7451's field perimeter.
Wow,
So
fancy.
like, it was the teams really banded together to get that done, and I think that's a really, really good thing. So huge shout out to all parties involved for getting that. As we get into elims, and we'll kind of head straight to the end. As we alluded to earlier, the 1 seed, at least in it was a similar pattern in Georgia as in South Carolina. The 1 seed kind of just ran away with it, where they didn't have a single match dip below 500 points in their elims run. I think that for their first 3 matches, they set back-to-back state records, with 558, 563, and then 648 points respectively. And it was really quite the show to watch. They were met in finals by the 2 seed, which had, I think they were the only alliance that attempted a triple offense strategy, with most other teams attempting a 201D, including the 1 seed who did 201D, and they really knocked it out of the park, with coming out of the gates with scoring 470 and 411, and then 491 points in there in match 13 to make it to finals. It really looked like going into finals that the 2 seed would and should be able to push the one seed in finals. Unfortunately, there was, I think 1002 ended up taking some damage in match 1, and they tried a swing for the fences strategy in Auton, that ended up biting them in the foot in match 2, and as a result, they ended up losing to the 1 seed, which again was captained by 1771. Their first pick, Team 1833, and their second pick, Team 4509. Awards.
Wow.
Georgia this year decided to give 2 chairmans or 2 Impact Awards, 2 EIs awards, and we also had enough rookies to do 1 Rookie All-Star award for the DCMP. And these teams qualified to Worlds, being Team 4188. With the Impact Award teams were 4188, the Columbus Space Program, and Team 7451, the Avengers. Huge shout out to both of these teams. Y'all are amazing, and I know you guys are going to knock your interviews and knock that process out of the park when it comes to going to Houston. Then the Engineering Inspiration Awards were won by Team 2974, Walton Robotics, who seems to win either that award or Impact Award every year, and Team 6925, the War Bots. From I believe they built out a Woodward Academy. They ended up winning the EI, and the district championship rookie all-star award was team 111214. Now, before we go a little bit harder, I would like to take this moment to congratulate and shout out somebody who really deserves it in the Peachtree district. You guys hear me talk a lot about him, and don't really mention, and I kind of badmouth him a lot, but I would like to really congratulate team or Howard Evans, the mentor from 1683, for winning the Woody Flowers Finalist Award for the Peachtree District. I think he's one of the best mentors we have, and it's been phenomenal. And I getting the opportunity to work with him at Gainesville, and when we partnered with Team 1683 and work with him, just interact with him throughout the years. He's really been a mentor that I look to for inspiration, and has been quite. I couldn't think of a more deserving candidate than him.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was actually shocked that he hadn't been won it before now, because when he told me, I was what? But yeah, big congratulations, Howard. Well deserved.
Yeah, when I saw the list of 15, his name popped out. I'm like, that's one of the ones I would have up there.
Right.
Yeah. The Peachtree District definitely has a good that is, I think, a competitive award to try.
Oh yeah,
we've definitely got some good ones.
Got some really good.
And again, big, and I would also like to say big shout out to all of the mentors who were even nominees. That in and of itself is a big honor. I myself, I'll probably never get nominated for that. I'm mediocre at best. But huge shout out to all of y'all. It's like y'all that's I don't want to congratulations on fighting the good fight, I guess. But yeah, that this was really one of the best. I feel like I've talked a lot. Brian, how was it like on Ignite?
It was. Yeah, so the first match, tying 235 to 235 against 1002. I was like, right. And it's one of those things where you're just like, oh, couldn't you have just done one human player, anything?
Yeah, you should have talked to your human player and says, man, what the heck?
Right. So it was. Day one was very turbulent. At 1771, 1261, there were a lot of teams that sort of dropped down from where you sort of expect them to be. And what was really nice about the event was, if you look at who's there at the end, everybody sort of that you saw going in made it to where they sort of expected to be in that range. And so it was like, I know Ignite, we went through some issues on day one, different things, and we got things locked down, and we started doing a lot better on day two. We brought a drum shooter, so we did a rebuild from top up. So that was a great experience for our team. It's the first time we've actually done a major iteration. It's like, some other teams have done those in the past, and so we were able to do that. So that was great. I'd like to shout out to Team 6705 Wildcat 5Es, who picked us as the first pick on the 5 Alliance, and 3344 Space Dragons. They are the Velociraptor of this year, playing defense quite effectively, and they did that again, which was amazing. I loved playing with them, and I look forward to playing with both of those in the future. We going into the line elims, looking at the top four, it's always hard to beat the the favorite in the match, and in this game, it's really hard. But we did well. We were quite excited. From what we tried to do from a season, we sort of hit where we wanted to go. We wanted to be like, can we get top four first pick or captain? We got first pick of top five, so we sort of got where we wanted to, which was good. And I'm looking forward to going to Worlds. It's going to be fun, and we haven't been there since 2019, so this is going to be a brand new experience for our students. And it was great. It was great to see that for a couple reasons, because there were some disappointments in how we ended our last match, and then to get to go to Worlds and seeing some of the students on our team crying with joy and everything. So that's what it's all about. And thank you for all the Woody Flower nominees for not fighting the good fight, but for apparently making a lasting impact on your students.
Yes, that was probably a better term to use. Yeah.
Lasting impact.
But with that being said, again, I would like to shout out all the teams that have qualified for Worlds out of the Peachtree District. I think we had 15 teams go.
Mhm.
Of course, we had the winning alliance of Team 1833, 1771, and 4509. And then 6919, 1002, or 6919, the Commodores, Team 1002, the Circuit Runners, Team 4188, the Columbus Space Program, who I had mentioned won Impact, 2974, Walton Robotics, having won EI, Team 4189, the Chargers, and I believe this is the first time they've gone to Worlds since 2018, if I remember correctly. So huge shout out to them. Team 1261, the Robo Lions, who pulled off a massive rebuild, going from a turreted shooter to a drum. Team 4509, I already mentioned the Mechanical Bulls. Team 6829, Ignite Robotics, who was another team that rebuilt. Team 7451, Avenger Robotics, and 6925, War Robotics. I believe 1648, the G3 also qualified out of the Peachtree District, because I think I see that they've registered. I don't know.
They were the next point getter.
They were the next point getter. So I don't know what team dropped, but huge shout out to them for qualifying. So huge shout out Team 1648.
Yeah, they were winners of North Charleston.
Yeah. So I think I personally, as we look forward to Worlds, I think this is probably the deepest group of teams Georgia has sent. Yeah. I definitely think at least 1833, 1002, 6919, and 1771 are all teams that should be major players in their division, at least at some level. I think that'll be something that I'm really excited about. There's also teams that show some potential. I think Team 2974 has shown flashes of being able to be a robotic that can do that this year, but we're fighting a lot of gremlins at state. So as they've got, fortunately, we're on the earlier batch of DCMP, so we got a couple extra weeks before Worlds to kind of button down the hatches and cross some T's and dot some I's. So I expect, they're a team that typically does really, really well at Worlds. And, rest of the teams, I think the best advice I would give y'all is enjoy it. You try and take a moment something Bean and teams that I've been on, we do when we've made it to Worlds, is take kids on tours of the pits and try and make sure that every kid has an opportunity to go see a 254, a 1678, a 1690, go see those teams in person. Just see some of the practices, ask some questions, and then even sign up to go for The first, they end up running a lot of these talks, like semi TED Talk type things. I know Karthik has a really, really good one that we send our kids to every single year. Effective first strategies. And there's also tons of other, like, they're about everything: branding,
Right.
fundraising,
Yep.
like
So-
there's anything and everything. Some of them you do have to sign up for, so just keep an eye out if there's there might be stuff there.
Yes, you need to sign up.
Right.
Yeah, I went to the OnShape one last year. That was a really good one.
The one thing I'll say is this sort of ties into both the conferences and the pits, right? The most important ability you need to have as a robot is reliability. That usually comes down to wiring.
Yep.
So anybody that works on wiring, you should go talk to like for example, I went and visited 1678 a couple years ago when I was on vacation, and everything that we do on Ignite was stuff that I learned from them and tips and tricks and philosophies they have. Matt from 1678 sort of gave me that tips and tricks. So please take advantage of that, because if your bot's always running, you're probably going to be getting picked.
And yes, we have a Peach Pit episode on that very subject.
Exactly.
Back in our archives.
Yep, and Matt was actually there. The other thing is the conferences on this is a software race these days now, right? And anything that from mechanical advantage, go to it, and you may have to get in line an hour and a half early. It is well worth it.
Yeah. There's also a bakery nearby the venue called Edo that has the best breakfast sandwich I've ever had.
Well, that's a good pro tip.
Huge shout out
to Edo.
Edo.
Are they sponsoring you?
No, I stand by that. I sponsor them. The last time I went to Worlds, I got breakfast there every single day.
I'm like, anytime Thomas is throwing something out there, I'm like, all right, who gave you something?
I'm putting that on my to-do list. Thank you very much, Thomas.
Yes.
The other thing is,
it's called the Breakfast Bodega. You cannot go wrong.
Okay. Yeah, and also another thing that I like to have our students do is participate in the nights on the green, or whatever they called, where they mix. You just do a mixer with the teams after the qualification matches. That's a very nice event where they can just relax, walk around, and enjoy the weather.
And for mentors,
most importantly, you should be having a lot of fun at Worlds. It's a large event with tons of stuff to do, and it doesn't really, like, how good you do is very dependent on what like division you get put in. If your robot could have like random breaks, that kind of disqualifies you from going to playoffs. So just keep a positive mindset, have a good time, watch Einstein's. It's a great time.
It is. Yeah, and the scouters at Worlds are top notch. Top notch. So they will know your every move. But yeah, enjoy it, have fun, and mingle with other teams. I just love interacting with the teams at Worlds.
Yep. And there's also stuff for mentors in the evening. So there's some stuff there. If you're not familiar with that, if you can reach out to any one of the four of us. We could get you the information. There is a part of Chief Delphi where a lot of that stuff is posted. So it's also time for mentors to get to know each other and make new friends.
Exactly.
Yes.
And play dodgeball.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could bring fuel.
Fuel hurts so much when it hits you.
I might skip that one. I gotta be careful if I'll probably play again this year, but I'm just like, some of these things I'm not typing for that. Or you can go ahead and hit me. I'm not gonna move.
Yeah. There were a couple people who asked in the chat for a link to the restaurant, so I put it there. You are not allowed to go there before I go there. I don't want to have to wait in line to get my sandwich.
Or if you do, say Thomas sent me, you should give him a discount.
Yeah, or maybe don't, because I could imagine that they might not be happy if like 3,000 robotics people descend on them and say, it is a very, very small place. Like it is a small bakery, so they can't. It's not really a place to take the whole team.
No, no.
Just putting that out there. Maybe I should not have added the link, but
Well, we can. I'm assuming we're going to do a pre-champ show.
Yep.
We can add in a few more of those tips there because there's some other things you need to be aware of.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, Houston's tons of fun. We've had the privilege of going a couple times. I've had the privilege of going a couple times now. I being 2023 being my most recent trip over there. But yeah, have fun, learn. We try, at least on Bean, and we try to tell the kids like everything post DCMP is a bonus. So just like it's nice to have an event where there's no competitive pressure. Just go out there and have fun.
Yep. Yeah.
So with that being said, unless there's any extra teams we want to shout out, do y'all have? I think it's good to. These kids' spring breaks end in 2 hours, so I think we'll let them go to bed.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yes. And until next time.
Yeah. All righty.
Parade
Queen wave. Thomas isn't doing it right.
All right. Yeah, it's all good.
1 second.